And,
So we're here. We're in it.
Yep, and I'm recording it now as well.
Okay. So,
Oh, let me turn off mute my phone.
Okay.
Both of them.
Okie dokie.
It's a good thing I just heard that go off, because I would not have thought about it.
Is this going to be better for my... No. I think I need to keep it here. Okay.
Okay. Now I should be
All right.
good.
Okay. Then, yeah. I'm recording already, and you are?
I am.
Okay, so we should... And I'll be able to sync these up from us talking. It wasn't actually too bad in the last one, so we'll be good.
Okay, cool.
Then,
That'll be nice.
I don't know. Do you want an intro or shall I?
No, you can take intro.
Okay. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Jan.
It's another episode
Yeah.
of Destiny.
Fuck.
Let's try that again. It's another episode of Destiny.
After dark.
Well, all right. I was going to say dark, but, you know, I guess you can't. You can have both of those words.
Yeah, well, they're mine now.
Welcome to Destiny After Dark, where we tell you the hottest takes in the Destiny world as given to you by myself, Jan, or Matt.
And me, Joe, or How Tall It Would.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of hot takes about a lot of news that Bungie has dropped today and days before. Before we get into it, though, I want to ask you to tell your friends about our show, because word of mouth is huge for small podcasts like us. And while you're at it, you and all your friends should go check out Pop Culture Unboxing, where me and my friends Ryan and Zach talk about pretty much just movies and TV, but we're really good at it. So you should go listen to that too.
I can confirm my totally not biased opinion is that that podcast is really good, and you're missing out if you're not listening to it.
Damn straight. So, Joe.
Yes.
Did you get Travelers Chosen?
Not yet.
Oh, really?
Actually, probably going to go get that as soon as we're done here. But I have been looking at all of the really cool build ideas with it, and at
Yeah,
first,
I saw Error already posted a video about it.
yeah, at first it seemed like people were a little bit iffy about the gun, but yeah, no. If you actually put in the effort to really make that thing work, you can do some really, really spicy stuff with that gun.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have a catalyst yet.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to get it. From what I've seen, the quest is pretty meh, but
Yeah. It was easy. It's just time consuming, but it's kind of it gives you kind of a nice final gallivant around the planets that are going away.
yeah,
It was easy just to like tune out my brain and just go along. I did it all solo, like it wasn't hard.
yeah, just some mindless shooting, kill everything that's in
Basically.
front of you, get gun.
I've been hearing people complain about it, but it's like this is probably like the last major content thing we're getting before the end of the season. So
Yeah,
other than Festival of the Lost.
it's unfortunate. Like, it'd be nice if the quest was better, you know. I mean, but
Yeah, but you know,
they can't all be
It's-
hits, right?
exactly. And the gun, yeah, it's good. It's fun. It when you have 10 stacks of whatever the light thing is, I forget already. Gathering light. It rips. Like the gun doesn't miss.
Yeah, from what I've seen, just how all of the stat boosts it gets are just really, really strong.
Yeah.
It almost makes it hard, I think, at times to actually consume your stacks to get your ability energy back, just because the gun feels so good when you're shooting it with full stacks.
Exactly. Like, yeah. It's like why would I want to lose this?
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing that did annoy me this week is as I was doing it, I was doing on my Warlock, and I was doing the interference quest along with it. And I get to the Shadow Realm thing, and I kill the Shrieker, and I go to Eris, and she tells me the same thing she told me last week. And so I was like, oh, well, I didn't do it on my Warlock last week, so maybe it's bugged again. So then I go through everything again on my Hunter that same night, and she tells me the same thing again. And then I head over to Reddit, and DTG has this to say, that everyone's getting that. And that we're probably not going to see the last interference mission until toward the end of the season, the last week or two.
Oh, how much you want to bet because we still have a Triumph we can't see, yeah?
That's probably it.
Yeah, those two have to be tied together. I'd be surprised if
Yeah.
they weren't. I thought that Triumph might be tied to Traveler's Chosen, but guns out, and still don't know what the Triumph is.
One Triumph is for Traveler's Chosen. Well, technically it's for finishing the Exodus quest line, but...
Okay.
Yeah, we can't finish interference right now, which is super annoying because I was looking forward to having that done.
Yeah, I need to hop in, do interference, and catch up on those lore books because I've been lazy and not running that quest every week.
Oh, I love the lore books are so good.
Yeah, I just read the lore books anyway.
I mean, that's fair. So Bungie released a lot of new stuff this week.
Yeah,
what was the first thing they released, Joe? Do you know?
The Hunter Stasis Spotlight that I have been incredibly excited for, and it absolutely lived up to everything I wanted.
Yeah.
I am not a Hunter main at all. Of all three of my characters, the one that is pretty much always covered in dust is my Hunter because, well, fuck Hunters.
Excuse me. They're great in PvP.
Yeah, well, see, that's the problem. But Revenant looks really, really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be an absolute blast.
Oh, yeah.
I think the main things I'm really curious to see is... So, the Ricochet Shurikens.
Yeah.
Are we looking at a vanilla D2 situation like with Sentinel Shield, or a current D2 situation like with Sentinel Shield where they track you from a fucking mile away?
I'm scared that it'll be either one of them. But I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. I wonder if it'll have to hit one enemy first to track another one, maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
There's, with the gameplay they've shown of it so far, there's just absolutely no way to tell which one it is.
Yeah.
But that's going to be one of the first things I'll be looking at once we actually get our hands on with it.
Yeah, and it's gonna. Yeah, and it's. Yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna have to play with it, especially in PvP. I can see these things being fun and all in PvE, but like we said last week, PvP is where these are gonna make or break.
Exactly. If I would hate for this to be a situation where we end up with one side of it, particularly the PvP side of one of these new subclasses just being so tremendously broken that it just ruins the game for a while. I mean, we saw it with Nova Warp for a while.
Yeah. We saw it with Spectral Blades.
Yeah, which Spectral is still too strong as a super. Anyone who thinks otherwise is fucking wrong. But my salt aside, yeah.
At higher levels, it's more the invis than the what do you call it? Flawless execution. That's really powerful at high levels.
Oh yeah, wall hacks plus the enemy can't see you.
Yep.
And you're a living aimbot that hits every single shot. Yeah, of course, that's crazy strong.
The one thing that was interesting about this Stasis Spotlight, apparently, hunters are getting Phoenix Dive. And it's called Shatter Dive.
Yeah, I'm curious because, does anyone actually use Phoenix Dive?
No. I don't think anyone does.
Right.
The only times I've ever used it is when I accidentally meant to Icarus Dash.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of cool. It works for hunters pretty well. I think it may be better for hunters than it is for warlocks, since specifically because of how their jumps work.
Yeah,
Being
and I
able
could see that
to-
being really useful in Crucible.
Yeah, being able to drop from that jump immediately as opposed to
Yeah.
having to deal with the very set arcs.
Yeah, because
From
there have been
Hunter
times
jump?
where I jump really high because I run in PvP. I run strafe jump on hunters, and there have been times where I've jumped up over cover or something like that, and there was just someone standing there, and I was just free because I was in the air and couldn't do anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Like if this is good enough to prevent those situations from happening, it could actually get some decent use, but it just depends, especially I mean, we have to see what the rest of the aspects are, and there
Yeah.
could be some spooky good stuff in there that just makes Shatter Dive completely irrelevant.
Oh yeah, and the other thing we got on this was some information on the grenades that all three of the classes are going to get, which is Glacier Grenade, Cold Snap Grenade, and Duskfield Grenade.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, outside of now having names for them all, I think we've pretty much seen about everything that these grenades are going to do through the gameplay
Yeah.
we've seen so far.
And I mean, they're all really similar to existing ones. Like Glacier Grenade is like Void Wall, except it, makes a big wall. Cold Snap is basically like a thermite grenade, but it tracks. And Duskfield is basically a pulse grenade or a vortex grenade.
Yeah, Glacier is probably going to be the most interesting of them, I would say.
I can see that being the one. That and Cold Snap, I can see being the ones that are used in PvP. Cold Snap will be good for hitting enemies behind cover, and Glacier Grenade is just going to be good for making walls.
Yeah, it'll be Glacier Grenade in both PvE and PvP is going to be really interesting because it's we have not had a tool like Glacier Grenade at all in the game before now.
Titans, barriers.
So I'm thinking more in terms of on walls.
Yeah, you're right then.
But yeah, so another thing, like are we looking at how tough is it going to be? Like, are these things going to be breakable by your enemies?
Yeah. How well? I mean, we can probably guarantee they're going to be breakable by the enemies, but how breakable?
Yeah,
Like, how
exactly.
easy will it be?
That's going to be a really big thing. And I mean, like, unlike Titan Barrier, it's, you can't see through the things, but
Yeah,
that doesn't necessarily matter. Being able to, especially if God forbid they straight up cannot be destroyed by the enemy team in PvP until like it decays on its own, being able to create an unbreakable barrier like that on a sight line or something, or heck, even
or
if
there's three of you alive and it's cap point in trials, and you just throw them in a triangle, and congratulations, cap point is completely blocked off. Yeah, there's no way they'll be unbreakable.
Yeah, but it's gonna be really, really interesting, especially if
Well,
they
it even says it. When destroyed, they'll create an AoE burst damage. So, like, you can destroy them, but then they'll also explode. So
right. But is that
gotta be
limited
careful.
to the player who used it, or not?
I doubt it.
Yeah, probably not. But it'll be interesting. It's another one of those things.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much
And there's a
about
little-
everything with
and-
Stasis. We just
And we'll
have
be talking
to
a little
see.
more about Stasis once we get to the TWAB, because they discussed a little bit more about it in there. But
Yep.
we should move on to the next thing that came out this week, which was on Tuesday. We got Destiny update 2.9.2, which had a handful of fixes. But if you want to see all of them, you can head over to the show notes in the description and click on that, and there will be a link to it. Or you can go to Bungie's website, and it'll be one of the more recent ones if you're listening to this on release. The big things that I wanted to touch on were Gambit, no more freezing when you spawn, which is cool. They're fixing prophecy, so now you'll always have enemies in hexahedron. They won't just stop spawning. And the big ones for me were the sleeper nodes. Sleeper nodes are finally fixed, and just before we started recording, I got my last 3. So
Yeah.
you boys got all of his sleeper nodes finally.
I'm I'm really happy for everyone who's finally going to be able to get that. But now, the one thing I hate about this being fixed is now I'm actually tempted to go and complete them. Because, well,
Do it, coward. You won't.
It's gonna take so
Not
long.
really. I spent about 2 or 3 hours doing it today and got through. I probably went through about 50 of them.
Right, but how many nodes did you have left?
I had 3 left.
I have a lot more than 3 left.
No, I didn't go through 50. There's only 40 of them. I probably went through 20 of them, 20 or 30.
Yeah,
so
we'll
it would
see.
only take you 2 or 3 hours of work. The
Yeah.
other one is that Redrick's broadsword is now reacquirable.
Thank God.
Yeah, and so now I'm working on getting the Mastery Triumph done for it.
You and those fucking triumphs, man.
Yeah, I'm almost at 120k.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I finished another Warlock one. I'm working on the Chaos Reach, and I finished my Arc Bolt grenades. So now I'm working on my Storm Grenade kills and my killing 4 enemies in 1 Chaos Reach.
Yeah, I'm still not done with my main for those class-based triumphs. So I still.
I
got
have
quite
more
a
than
ways
half
to
of
go.
all the Hunter and Warlock ones done, and I have all the Titan ones done.
It's those freaking the Titan grenades. Specifically,
ones?
the arc ones specifically.
Oh yeah, Lightning Grenade took forever.
Yeah, lightning grenade.
Spike
kills.
Grenade is going to take forever too on Hunter.
Oh God, yeah, those are awful.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun. The last thing that I wanted to say was someone on DTG noticed this. With this update, they didn't mention it, but now all the armor you have, even if you have an ornament, shows what season the armor itself came from, not the one the ornament came from.
Yeah, it's a
Which
really
is
small
useful.
thing. Yeah, it's a really small thing, but it's a tremendous quality of life change.
Yeah, it really is. Was there anything else in the update that you wanted to call out in particular?
No, well, I mean, there's the solstice glow thing. They look better now. It's fine. They're good enough.
But they're not as good.
Yeah, I still think last year's glows are way better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just a preference thing. I mean, I didn't commit anywhere near as much time to solstice this season as I did to the previous 2. But
Yeah, me either. I did enough to finish all the triumphs and stuff and get my armor done, but that was it.
yeah, it's just I don't know. After having done it twice already, wasn't a whole lot of reason for me to do it this third go around. Especially like personally, I just didn't care that much about the armor. So
Yeah, I'm a complete simp for Destiny though, so.
yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, if you want to check out any of the other updates that happened with that update, then you can head into our show notes. Then you'll find the link there. The next thing they released early today, which I woke up and saw this and thought it was the TWAB, but it's not. It's a lore drop called Citizens of the City. And it's really interesting. I'm not going to read a whole lot about it. Just call out a couple things I caught in it. If you want to read it, again, head to the show notes. But 2 interesting things that came from it, which did you read the whole thing, Joe?
I've read through the last bit. I still haven't read through all of it.
Okay. So in the first 2 bits, what's interesting is that it shows that especially younger citizens of the city are starting to get kind of disenfranchised with guardians and all this stuff, all this good versus evil stuff. And they're kind of getting sick and tired of staying in one place and being told like, we'll protect you. You just stay here and be safe. So it's interesting to see that dynamic. And if you want to read about it, you can in that lore entry. But the coolest thing in there is in the third part that Joe also read, where we get the first mention of something we've never heard of in Destiny before, which is the possible existence of other cities.
So I'm really excited about this. Honestly about this whole thing. With the first bit with like the generational gap and the younger citizens of the city not feeling as in line with the traditions of it and wanting to just sit there, stay safe and stay put. Like it's this thing they touched on at the very beginning with the vanilla campaign for D2, and then it's just kind of like not existed. And to see that brought up again at all is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
And like the idea of, I mean, normally when they do these lore drops, when they mention things in them, it's because they are going to be relevant in some capacity soon.
Yeah.
And the idea of these free capitals, or just like other, because I think they specifically mention them as like underground cities.
Yeah.
The idea of having locations like that potentially in the future in game is just really cool. So
Yeah.
we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's one of those threads that's just kind of in there as background detail and we never get to see. Or
Yeah.
maybe it's something that's going to be really cool and we'll see in the future. Who knows?
It's Bungie. It could go either way.
Yeah,
But
pretty much.
if you want to know more, you should read it yourself because it is a really good lore entry, and they don't usually release just one of these at a time. So we might expect to see more information here soon. And the last, but not certainly not least, we have the TWAB, which has a heck of a lot of stuff that really excites me and lacks other stuff that I still want to know the answer to. So let's get into it. Did you read the TWAB, Joe?
I did.
And what'd you think?
So the thing I'm most excited about with this TWAB is probably something we'll get into a little bit further through, which is the Gambit stuff.
Yep, same here.
But we might as well go through it from start to finish just because that's easier.
Basically, the first thing we got was a picture of, or a new infographic of Stasis, and exactly what it is.
So, I all of this info is really, really cool. It's all kind of just like additional little minor details on the stuff we've seen before. Like with the bit on the right-hand side with breaking it down about the characteristics with essentially all the abilities will be used in some way to slow enemies, to freeze them, or to shatter frozen enemies.
Yeah. Well, what jumped out at me from there was the freeze, where it says that the effect will wear off slowly over time, but if affected players are willing to take some damage in the process, they can break out early. That comforts me a lot from a PvP perspective. Of like, okay, so if depending on the circumstances, you can choose to just wait it out and not take damage, or you can break out to take some damage, break out, and then, if you're a filthy wormhusk hunter like I am, just dodge off the damage.
Yeah, it'll be again. It's another one of those things we'll have to see it in game and see just how it plays. But no, it is good. I mean, I know a lot of people are concerned about the idea of CC of any kind being put into the game. It's something that we haven't had.
For those of you that don't know, CC is crowd control, and it became a huge problem in Overwatch for a long time, and I think it still remains one, where there were just so many ways to stun people and knock them down and keep them from playing the game that it just becomes frustrating.
Yeah, dealing with crowd control in general, it's tough. It's one of those. It's a type of thing where the person who's using it is generally, especially when it's done well, having a lot of fun, and the person on the receiving end is really not. Like, being put into any sort of state in game where you essentially feel helpless, it's just not a good place to be. So we'll have to see. Even just being caught in it slightly with a slowing effect, depending on how severe it is, could put a real damper on a lot of people's opinion of the
I mean,
PvP
I sometimes get
sandbox.
frustrated just being slowed down in smoke sometimes.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I can just whip around and shoot the person shooting me. But like if I get slowed and then frozen and I'm just standing there waiting to get shot, I could see that being really frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. So, yep, we'll just have to, unfortunately, wait and see with that. But
more info that raises more questions than it answers.
Yeah.
But now we get into the cooler parts of it. And we'll go down the TWAB. Like, the armor is the first thing. The armor for the core playlists. That is Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible.
Yep. I'm pretty sure the one bit of info in here that is disappointing, though I think we knew before, was that the armor for Gear 4 for those three playlists was going to share geometry.
Yeah.
which is disappointing. It's something that's annoyed me all the way back since D1
Yeah.
with Rise of Iron, when all of the armor from all of the vendors was the exact same, just with different decals and default shaders.
Yeah. But I mean, like I almost never wear any of the like Gambit or Vanguard or Crucible armor. I wear like raid armor, and like on my Hunter, I almost only wear Trials armor. So like, I can see why they don't want to put that much work into these armor sets. And they do look cool. Like, there's a picture of them in the TWAB. Again, in the show notes, you can find a link to it. So I'm actually kind of okay with this.
I mean,
and here's my question though: is it says the armor shares a new set of new geometry each year, with decals and shaders specific to the activity. So does that mean that you get one piece of armor and then there are different ornaments? Or is it like, 3 different chest pieces that all have the same geometry, but one has Vanguard colors, one has Crucible, one has Gambit?
I'm pretty sure it's the latter.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if it isn't. If it isn't, honestly, I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I doubt it. It's probably 3 different sets, just with different decals and shaders.
Yeah, which makes sense because we already have a ton of ornaments, and we're gonna have even more probably, especially with Transmog.
Yeah, whenever we get that next year at some point.
Yeah, is that not coming out at release?
No, not even close. Yeah, every time they've talked about it, they've phrased it as it being in the pipeline, but still being a ways away.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
It'll still be cool to have it. I'm glad we're getting it.
Yeah, eventually. Is hoping they do it right, but
yeah,
we'll see.
And the armor, you can earn it same way you earn it already. Completing activities or doing vendor rank ups. Here's the one that catches my eye, and I'm cautiously optimistic about, is that weekly challenges also offer avenues for players to earn higher stat packages for these armor sets. What does higher stat package mean? Is it like actually high where we could get like 67, 69 stat armor with like 21 int and 25 recovery? Or is it like the Umbrals where it's like, 15 recoveries, a high stat? It's like, no, it's garbage.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, for me, and I think for most players, if it drops armor with like 60 stats overall as a minimum, I think it'll be a good place to start. One of the toughest things in the game for a lot of the more casual players is getting higher stat roll armor. So having any avenue to get that is probably a good thing. But yeah, if they view high stat rolls as something like 57 to 63, that's not going to be that great. And coming off of the way they viewed armor focusing with Umbrals and the really, really pitiful extent to which it focuses the armor on specific stats, I'm not going to get my hopes up on that.
I did it once for each armor piece just to get the triumph.
Same.
Do you want to talk about something that's not possibly disappointing?
The new ritual gun.
It looks gorgeous. I am so excited.
It is really, really sexy. Unfortunately, outside of knowing that it's a sniper rifle and that it looks really cool, we don't know anything about it, but we do know a lot about how you're going to get it, though, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, it is literally Beloved's model, so it means it probably will be what's Beloved, 90? Yeah. It'll be a nice 90, and if it has Vorpal on it, it will be an apps, and if it can have Snapshot and Vorpal, it will immediately be the sniper of choice for PvP. Because a 90 with Vorpal can one-shot supers, just like a 72.
Yeah. Assuming snipers don't get touched again in some way.
Exactly. That in all of this assumes that the sandbox doesn't change too much. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But it still looks gorgeous, and I'm kind of happy with how they have it set up. Because the way you're going to do it is you are going to go to Banshee, and he'll ask you, how do you want to get this gun? With Crucible, Strikes, or Gambit? And all the good players are going to go to him and say, Mr. Banshee, sir, I would really enjoy to get this gun through Crucible. And Banshee will say, good choice. Go to Crucible and shoot people in the head with sniper rifles.
And then they'll get it in 5 matches.
Exactly. I'll do it in 4. Don't be out here doubting me.
But,
or, if you're an absolute scrub, you can go to Strikes, or if you're a masochist, you can go to Gambit to get it.
well, I mean, if you're invading in Gambit, then maybe not.
Yeah.
But, yeah. No, we'll see. It sucks. I wish we could go back to the system of having 3 for each of the main playlists. But the fact that we're getting one at all is better than none. And yeah. I mean, my God, does it look good.
And it is rumored to be called the Adored, which makes sense because it is literally Beloved's model, but recolored with a cloth wrapped around it.
Yep.
Like, literally, pull up the TWAB, look at the sniper, and then pull up an image of Beloved. It is the exact same sniper.
Is anyone going to actually use the alternative skins?
I don't know. The Crucible one looks pretty good, but the normal skin just looks gorgeous. Like, I'm obviously going to get... So, yeah, once you get the gun, you can then go to Zavala, Shax, and Drifter and say, hey, this gun's cool and all, but I want to make it look like you want it to look like. And they'll say, okay, go do these things for me, and I'll teach you how to paint it the way I want it. And then you get 3 ornaments, 1 for Gambit, 1 for Crucible, 1 for Strikes. The problem is none of them look nearly as good as the raw gun.
Yeah. Of the 3 alternatives, my personal favorite is the Gambit one, but I love the Gambit aesthetic for the most part.
Yeah.
And I think we can all agree that the Vanguard one is the worst one, though.
Oh, all right, slow down. Vanguard one looks all right. I like the orange.
I really, really hate the orange and blue Vanguard aesthetic.
Well, I mean, you've seen my Titan, though, right?
You and your fucking traffic cone, you mean?
Yep, the traffic cone. That sniper will go great for him.
Oh, man.
Well, speaking of those 3 activities, there's a lot about them in the TWAB, especially Crucible and Gambit.
Yes.
Yeah, you're excited about the Gambit. I'll let you talk about that, but I'm going to talk about Crucible. They are removing a lot of them. They said in the last TWAB, I already forget what they are. Go look at them if you want to see. But what we're going to have is 5 options in the director. Well, 6 technically. There'll be, technically more than that. Anyway, Control, Elimination, Rumble, Survival, and Survival Freelance are all still going to be there. We're going to have a weekly rotator between Clash, Mayhem, and Showdown. Private matches will still be there. Iron Banner is going to be coming back, but what's interesting about that is we're getting Iron Banner Freelance in Season 12. So if you don't want to face off against sweaty 6 stacks like I tend to go into Iron Banner with, you can go and play Freelance. Are you excited about that, Joe?
Well, so I'm excited for the community, but I must admit, I am going to miss 6 stacking in Iron Banner and winning 20 games in a row.
Or 30. We'll still do it. We're all really good.
I mean, I don't know. I'll probably be throwing even harder than I normally do because I'm still going to be doing the same thing where my entire goal every game is to get a multi-kill with a Syntheseps Ballistic Slam. Because
and you have some clips of that already, I know that.
Yeah, which, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, on Code of the Missile, with Ballistic Slam, if you have Syntheseps equipped and you slam into a group of 2 or more people, if they are close enough together, they will all die. And it is
amazing to watch.
It is the hottest thing. It is the biggest dick energy I think you can pull off with the Titan in PvP. It's just tremendously satisfying.
Oh yeah, it is so incredible. I love it. You know what? I know the most exciting, absolute god tier thing they're announcing in this. Well, they've already kind of announced it, but for trials, we're getting adept weapons. Let's go.
Thank God.
Yes, I'm so ready. And we'll find out apparently more in October on how those will work with sandbox previews. And my body is so ready. I'm already going flawless, 3 to 5 times every weekend. It'll be so nice to get these adept weapons.
Yeah, I'm ready to never get them, but
We'll carry you, baby.
It is really good that they're actually going to be there at all. I mean, even if it's something as simple as like a system that they've had recently, is making it so, like right now this season, you can unlock the ability in the season pass for the seasonal weapons that you get from Umbrals to have multiple possible perks in the final slot.
Yeah.
Even something like having that all the time would be a good choice. And hopefully it's something a little bit more than that.
The suggestion I love is that for adept weapons, celerity becomes an intrinsic perk.
That would be really spicy.
Yeah, because having an astral with celerity on top of quick draw opening shot would be such an amazing gun to have. Right? You can already feel it.
Oh God, that hurts.
It's so I want it so bad.
Yeah,
and strikes are getting gimped a little bit. Not really. Notably though, heroic story missions and normal nightfalls are going away.
Yeah, normal nightfalls. It's honestly, it's been really weird that they were still around. So
yeah,
whatever.
I can finally delete my 5 of swords.
Does anyone run heroic story missions if they're not doing it for triumphs?
I need to run more heroic Forsaken missions for a triumph.
I think I still need to beat Gaul on heroic.
I had that one for forever. He was literally on a heroic story mission like yesterday, by the way.
Oh, God damn it.
You're looking for Chosen is the one.
Yeah, well, is what it is.
Yeah, you still have a month and a half or so.
Yeah, exactly. But for the part of this that I'm most excited about.
2 months. Exactly, actually, because we're recording on September 10th.
So, Gambit.
Yeah. Good old gimbal.
So, I know a lot of people hate Gambit. I understand why a lot of people hate Gambit. But as someone who has been pretty fucking good at Gambit, I fucking love Gambit.
Yeah, Gambit's great.
Gambit is like going into Gambit with a 2-stack is some of the most fun I've had in this game. But ever since it came out, there's been a fair amount of problems with it, which fortunately it seems like some of these are being addressed with the new version that we're getting. Yeah. Which so it's going to our new version of Gambit is going to be a single round like Gambit Prime, fortunately, with a more Gambit-like boss rush, though there's a little bit of an asterisk there. So what they're doing is you are going to be able to kill the envoys at the start to get stacks of Slayer to start with. But unlike with normal Gambit, those stacks aren't going to grow over time. You're going to get the stacks you get from those envoys, and then that's it. Though, they did say every, 40% of the boss's health, more envoys will spawn that you can also kill to get additional stacks. So it'll be really interesting to see how that actually plays out. It sounds like they intend that to be more of like a catch-up mechanic.
Kind of, because they say if you get invaded and the Primeval is healed, you just do 40% damage, you get some more envoys and get higher buffs.
Yep.
And they're making the boss a lot tankier, apparently.
Yep. The Primeval Slayer buff is no longer timed. You just have it, which is more like OG Gambit.
No, the boss fight's exactly like OG Gambit. But in OG Gambit, you just kill 2 envoys, and then Primeval Slayer starts just stacking higher and higher.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you need to kill the envoys to get a higher stack. So you need to kill 1 envoy to get 1 stack, 2 envoys to get 2 stacks, do 40% damage, get 2 more envoys, get 4 stacks, do another 40% damage, and then the last 20% you just meme on the boss with Falling Guillotine. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah. The Taken captain is being thrown into the fucking sun
Where he
and,
belongs.
and replaced with the Taken Phalanx, which
I'd like to see him try to dodge around the sun.
thank sweet merciful Christ. The Taken captain is probably one of the reasons that a lot of people just don't play Gambit, because dealing with that blocker is such a tremendous pain in the ass.
When putting 10 motes in is far more effective than putting in 20.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a
nice.
much better game. I will say the picture of the Gambit directory is pretty lonely because it's literally just Gambit and private matches. There's no Reckoning, no Prime.
Yeah, it's a little empty.
I feel like they're probably gonna make those icons bigger or something.
Maybe
Because these look like just like the same logos and obviously the same backgrounds. So I think these are subject to change.
yeah,
Especially the
maybe.
backgrounds, because they change those every season or every year at least. But it has to be season because the Trials armor wasn't around in Shadowkeep.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they made that change specifically for Trials.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's not a seasonal thing, though. I don't know. I can't remember for sure. A couple other interesting notes. So one of the things that they had mentioned before that I know a lot of people were worried about is it sounded like they were exploring the idea of having moat drain be stronger.
Yeah.
Which they have since backed up on, fortunately. I think anyone who plays enough Gambit knew the minute they said that was a fucking awful idea. And
I'm just going to buckle on the bang and take all of their moats.
Yeah, it seems Bungie has fortunately come to the same conclusion.
The problem is, and what they're trying to fix and they'll never fix, is trying to balance the game so that an organized team against a bunch of solos won't be a raffle stop. But here's the secret. If you have a group of coordinated people against people who are uncoordinated, it will always be a stomp.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, because when I solo queue in Gambit, I'm a good invader. But if the invasion portal comes up and I want to invade, I have to go immediately, or else I will have the portal stolen from me. Whereas when I'm with a stack, I can time my invades. I know how to time them, but I can't do it in solo because someone else will take the portal.
The honestly,
little
the
details
thing
like
with I mean, the issue with stacking versus solo queuing is going to be a problem in every playlist. I mean, like, it's always going to be a problem in PvP. It's always going to be a problem in Gambit. To me, as much as I love, at least on paper, a lot of these changes they've talked about with Gambit, the one big problem, to me, the biggest problem with Gambit that is not remotely being talked about by Bungie is the ammo economy. The one thing that will always dictate more often than anything else who wins a Gambit match is heavy ammo. Heavy ammo is the single most important thing in a Gambit match, and
taking armaments is still going to be relevant for at least the next year.
Yeah, as long as armaments exists, Gambit is going to probably be won far more often by people who are using it than people who aren't.
Yep.
And then just the RNG around heavy ammo drops in general is a problem. I mean, like, the thing is, I'm not sitting here and saying that Gambit should be like a competitive game mode. You know, like, at the end of the day,
I mean,
Gambit
it's still a game mode that no other game has anything like.
Yeah, like, at the end of the day, Gambit should be, to me anyway, a place where essentially the PvP and the PvE sides of the community can come together. You know, I mean, it's like the best time I've ever had in Gambit is when I run Reaper and then one of the one of the people from the clan who is crazy good at PvP just invades, and that's all they do. And you dominate so hard with that setup most of the time.
Yeah, because invaders really control the flow of the game. And if the invader can choose exactly when they're going to invade, like, I'm not going to go through the portal as soon as it comes up if the enemy only has 5 motes. But if they have, 25 motes on their persons, I'm absolutely going in there. And what I hope happens is that they include the thing that makes Gambit Prime better, where invaders lock down the bank. So you can't just all stand by the bank and dunk really quick while the invader tries to get a sight line. If you don't want to be killed, you better find cover and be good at juking the invader.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's tough. I mean, one of the things they're doing is they are changing the time between invasions during the moat phase to where they are limited to where they can be no faster than 20 seconds.
Yeah, and that's another thing I had an issue with, because in solo queue, that's fine. But in normal, in like a 4v4 situation, even the 10-second one is almost too slow, because so much can happen in those couple seconds. Especially if you're a coordinated team against another coordinated team.
It's tough. I think personally, for me, in my opinion, when you're balancing for this, considering that I would say the overwhelming majority of people who play Gambit play in either solo queue or duo queue, I think it makes a lot more sense to lean that direction in terms of balance than to try to balance around 4 stacks. Just because of how rare those are. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good point. If you have 2 god tier 4 stacks going up against each other in Gambit, the invaders aren't really going to get much opportunity to do anything with 20 seconds between invades during the moats phase.
Yeah.
Like, they're just not. You clear ads way too fast when you're really, really churning like that, to be able to, like, you can clear an entire side in 20 seconds easy.
Even without supers.
Like, if you're all the way up there at the top tier.
Yeah. One thing I'm also going to miss is Reapers making big boy special ammo.
Oh man. Yeah, it's honestly, I'm really glad that the Gambit Prime armor perks are not going to be relevant anymore. The Reaper armor set was so strong, and as was the Invader set. Like, they were both crazy strong, but man, were they fun to play with. So,
and even like Sentry was stronger than people gave it credit for.
Yeah,
like, because I'm already usually an Invader hunter, but when I can do it as a Sentry, oh my god, it's so easy.
Yeah, and then poor.
Because here's the secret: if you're not that great at Gambit, just remember this one tip: invaders never expect a shotgun rush, and they're not equipped for it. They're all running long range weapons. They're running snipers and xenophage and truth. If you get right in their face with a shotgun, there's nothing they can do about it. Or you hide right behind a corner. Yeah. They're expecting to be able to jump around and just start punching you. They don't expect to eat a bunch of, perfect paradox shots. That's what I use in Gambit. Perfect paradox 1-2 punch. It absolutely fucks in Gambit.
Yep. Capital F.
Yes. And a U and a capital C and a capital K, but a lowercase s. Yeah. Like, Mountaintop is already old news in Gambit. It's about that 1-2 punch perfect paradox, which, get one if you did, and if you didn't, you're out of luck. But I think that about concludes it. There's a little bit more in the TWAB, but mostly just about issues they know about, which none of them seem that important. So if you want to know more about it, you can check it out for yourself. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, Joe, before we close it out?
Oh, there is one more thing, real quick.
Lay it on us.
So we got leaks for what the Festival of the Lost Armor is going to look like.
Oh, yeah.
I am really excited.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, I think all 3 sets look great. Of course, that's kind of really all there is to it. I'm assuming we'll get Festival of the Lost info in the not too distant future.
Yeah. Because that's supposed to be starting. What's the first Tuesday in February? I think that's supposed to start on the 6th of February. So less than a month away. October. You're right. I don't know why I said February.
I have
My
no
mind
idea.
is out there apparently, which means we probably should end it.
Yeah, I think that's a good place.
Yeah. So Joe, where can they find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at How Tall It Would and on Twitch at How Tall It Would.
What do you do there?
So on Twitch, really only follow me if you're interested in speedrunning. To be honest, I don't really do much Destiny stuff over there. But speedrunning is cool, and if you're remotely interested, come hang out. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at MattRossVO, where I complain about Destiny, and you can sometimes find me on Twitch at Jan_Jinkle, where I occasionally play Trials and stuff like that whenever I feel like it, and sometimes when I don't feel like it, but who knows. You can also follow our show on Twitter at Destiny After Dark. That's Destiny After DRK, because Destiny After Dark is 16 characters and Twitter only allows 15. So we had to lose a letter. And also tell your friends, because like I said at the beginning, word of mouth is huge for a podcast like this. And I think that about wraps it up. So thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
That's it. You're just gonna give him a yeah, not a say bye or something.
Nah, fuck them.
All right. Bye everyone. I love you.
Bye.